We are so glad to have you join us today on July 15th at the Rotary Club of Cincinnati's meeting. We welcome those of you who are on Zoom as well. We will start and begin our program with a special piano rendition of the national anthem played by Tom White, followed by the four-way test and invocation by Dr. Hux Miller. Let's direct our attention towards the back after we salute the flag and make sure we see the flag's presence here, and Tom will be playing the national anthem from the rear. Glass gleaming, whose posture and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, where so loudly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. Brave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, President Melinda. Let us bow our heads. Lord, thank you for the opportunity given us for membership in Rotary, the wonderful international organization for good. Help us discern the truth about the problems our world faces. Help us see how to work for a world fair to all. Thank you for the opportunities your world provides for all people to provide service above self, and for all people to enjoy goodwill and friendship, especially the restaurant industry. And now, let us repeat the four-way test of the things we as Rotarians think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
You may be seated. Next, we will be favored to have Pat Neal Miller give a special welcome to our visitors and guests. She will be followed by Gary Walton, who will give greetings from our meeting sponsor today, Cincinnati Type and Print Museum.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor to introduce our guest and prospective members here today. As I read your names, please stand for a moment to be recognized. Thomas White, he's our guest pianist, and he is the guest of Melinda Kelly. Welcome, Thomas. Eric Fogg from Caldwell Banker. He is the guest of Nancy Rice. Welcome. Jacob Simpson, Cincinnati Type and Print Museum. He is the guest of Gary Walton. Ken Reller from RPI. He is also the guest of Gary Walton. And we're going for a third time. Marvin Hugo, he is from Linger Photo Engraving, and he is also the guest of Gary Walton. We have Pat Ward, retired CEI Foundation, guest of Don Ogler. Rebecca Sinopoli, she is from Makesov Environmental Consultants, and she is the guest of Lisa Blaney Gassaway. Welcome, Rebecca. We have Scott Knoll, Florence, Kentucky Fire Chief, and he is the guest of Andy McIntyre. We have Shane Dixon, House Call Pro, guest of Rick Flynn. Welcome, Shane. Sharon Pereiro, retired educational administrator. She is the guest of Melinda Kelly. Sid Taylor from DePaul Crystal Ray High School, and he is the guest of Sparkle Worley. Welcome, Sid. And finally, Susan Morgan, Under the Water Corporation, and she is the guest of Kelly Mahan. Welcome, Susan. And welcome to all our guests and prospective members today.
All right, I have 1 minute to give a 5-minute presentation about the museum, so I'm going to talk fast, and I need you to listen well. Okay? I bring greetings, joyful greetings from the good people of Price Hill. I'm Gary Walton. I am the founder of the Cincinnati Type and Print Museum, which is located in Lower Price Hill. The museum stands on 4 columns. Column number 1, to preserve the history of printing in Cincinnati. At one time, Cincinnati was the 2nd largest printing center in the world. Today, we're still pretty good. We're number 11, thanks to a little company down the street called Procter & God. Give a motive for that laugh game. When you start looking at the history of Cincinnati, both the past and the present, you start to realize there are a lot of printing companies that have invested heavily in this city that need to be recognized. Companies like Hennigan, CJK, Rosenthal, Nielsen, Stevenson, Photoshop, just to mention a few. Okay? Printing is very strong in Cincinnati. Column number 2, to be a place for artists to come and enjoy the art of making handmade paper and printing by the letterpress process. Letterpress printing is coming alive in the art community, and it's really people getting really excited about it. Colleges today are offering more and more classes in letterpress printing. It's an art form now instead of necessarily a printing form. Okay? When you think of letterpress printing, this would be printing from a raised metal or wood surface like Johann Gutenberg did with the first printed Bible, which, by the way, one did sell last year for $2.5 million. Not bad. Column 3, and the most important of all, we are teamed up with Block Ministries, and we are helping rehabilitate girls who are heroin addicts / prostitutes / put whatever evil thing you want on there. And we're in the process of working with them. They do a redemption program where the girls come and get free housing, get cared for, get plenty of great counseling. And then in the afternoons, they come with us, and they print greeting cards and wrapping paper and gift cards and all kinds of things, which gets their creative spirits going and gets them thinking about their life and realizing they're important and gives them a chance to finally break that cycle. Our program is a 12-year program, and in 12 years, you will break that cycle. And last, number 4, we're a place for people to come and learn about printing and also maybe get involved in printing. In the next 5 to 10 years, the printing industry is going to drastically grow. Something called print electronics, where we're going to print antennas, circuit boards, batteries, and cells, all on a printing press. This is not 3D printing. This is traditional printing, and it's going to change everything. It's going to cause marketing costs to drop down. It's going to cause Ohio to be big again in printing, and I'm excited about that. That's my story. We've been very blessed in the 4.5 years that we've been here. We've trained 28 girls, and they're no longer on the streets anymore. They're now good citizens. I just want to encourage you to come to the museum sometime. It's totally free. And that's my story. Continue doing what you do. Work in the calling God has given you, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for the nudge.
Thank you very much for sponsoring our program today and for your detailed message of the museum. We really appreciate that, and thank you very much, Pat Neal Miller, for welcoming our guests and visitors. We have a lot of guests and visitors. We're glad you're here, and we hope you will come back again, and feel free to join us as well as a member. Next, we will have Mark Supine, the chairperson of our Balloon Rides Committee. We had a great time last night at the balloon rides out at Camp Allen, and Mark will tell you a little bit more about that. Following Mark will be Gary Kendall, who is the chairperson of our Bowling Committee, and Gary will follow Mark.
Thanks, Melinda. So who am I? Why am I here? The people that know me are wondering that too. I heard there was chicken on the menu, and so I thought, geez, they're having chicken today, I should come. Those that don't know me, I'm the person that sends you an annoying email every Wednesday during the summer. I'm the chairperson for the Camp Allen Balloon Rides Committee. I've been a member of Rotary since 1997. When I joined, I came to the balloon rides. The sponsor that brought me in said to do the balloon rides and do bowling. I've been doing both of them since 1997. My family comes out. My son's been coming out since he was 3. A part of giving back, he built a bowling lane as a Boy Scout Eagle project, and he works out there now during the summer cooking for the campers. So what are the balloon rides? Our club has been doing it for almost 30 years. It's a very unique experience for the campers, and it's really fun. They really enjoy it. It's one of the few Rotary events that you can bring your family to, and they can experience Rotary in action and see you giving back to the community and the values of volunteering. The Rotarians that come out get immediate results of their efforts and are rewarded by seeing the smiling faces of the campers. Rotary provides the bowling rides every Wednesday. We start at 6:15 during the summer. So what do you got to do it? You just have to show up. You can email me you're coming. You don't have to. Doesn't matter. Just come. We'd love to see you there. We need help setting up the balloons. We help assist the balloons up and down while the campers are getting in and out. We help take down the balloons. What do you do if too many Rotarians show up? We all get to hang out with each other. It's like a Rotary after hours every Wednesday. So the more the merrier. After it's finished, you get to go up in the balloon if you'd like to. And take some photo opportunities, that sort of thing. So we have 3 more dates left. Mark your calendars. On your table is a history of the balloon rides. Past President Tom Powell in 2016 did a presentation up here. That's a copy of his presentation. So what do you get when you come out? You get happy campers. Thank you, guys.
And while you have your Wednesdays scheduled, after balloon rides are over, bowling starts. So, just keep busy on Wednesday night. Back in 1970, Al Fisk established the Bowler of the Year Award, given to the person that most epitomizes the spirit of Rotary bowling. And there's a lot of prestigious names on here, including Wally Emmerling. And this year, the person, well, as he said, has been bowling since 1997, and he's probably one of our most faithful attendees to bowling. He's competitive, and both in his average and in his competitive spirit, and he's enthusiastic. There's not a night you go home and say, "Was Mark Supine bowling tonight?" You know when Mark's in the house. So, Mark, I'd like to award you the Bowler of the Year Award, which is actually 1919, 1920.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Mark, on receiving the award, the Bowler Award. Next, we will have a very special live auction for Believe to Achieve by Al Conscious. Al?
Thank you, President Melinda. Congratulations, Mark. We have a tremendous golf package that consists of 3 different golf courses that I'll tell you about in a moment to get you, Jane's playing through here. In order to get you focused, I brought along, and I can't read the whole list because Melinda told me to stay focused, but this is David Letterman's top 10 reasons why golf is better than sex. Number 1, a below par performance is considered very good. In golf, you can stop in the middle, have a cheeseburger and a couple of beers. In golf, your partner doesn't hire a lawyer if you play with someone else. And in golf, you don't have to cuddle with your partner when you're finished. There are quite a few more, but in the interest of time, we'll cut to the auction. In addition to getting 3 great golf courses as part of this package, it's golf for 4, including lunch, carts, all that. The only exception is at the Kenwood Country Club, you need to have a member. So I will be joining the threesome of the successful bidders. So don't let that diminish your bidding. And in addition to the great prize, you are also helping 3 wonderful organizations, because this year the Believe to Achieve proceeds go to Stepping Stones, Down Syndrome Association, and Visionaries and Voices. So these are 3 great groups. So basically what we have are, the 3 courses are Hickory Woods out in Loveland. And again, all these are for 4 people with carts and lunch. The next one is TPC, which is, if you haven't played it, it's a wonderful course. The PGA seniors have had several tournaments out there. I remember watching Arnold Palmer play out there. So the TPC is the second one, and Kenwood Country Club is the third. So the package is valued at over $1,000, and we'll see what we can do to raise some money for these great groups. So we'll start the bidding at $500. Do we have an opening bid at $500? Don, thank you. $500. Do we have $600? We have $600 back here. Thank you. Do we have $700? Thank you. I can't see all the way back there, but okay. Thank you, Carl. Do we have $800? We have $800. Do we have $900? Yes, Carl? Thank you. Okay, do we have $1,000? Thank you. Do we have 1,100? Okay, that's great. We'll say going once, going twice, sold for 1,100. Thank you. In wrapping up, I have 3 announcements. One is Believe to Achieve will be August the 7th this year, August 7th, at the Brain Brew Distillery. And part of the test will be if you cannot pronounce Brain Brew Distillery, they'll probably cut you off at that point. So if you want to see Carl Kappas in the back, he will have information about sponsoring the event or buying a ticket to the event. Second announcement, Dean Gregory will be here next week, and Dean is donating a dinner for 12, a private dinner for 12 at the Boathouse. So he'll be auctioning that off next week. And Jim Hudson will be in the back with Carl, and they'll be selling live auction tickets. For $100, there will only be 150 tickets sold, so your odds are pretty good at winning. You'll win one of 5 prizes, Some of them are the Hotel del Coronado in the San Diego area. We've been there, beautiful place. Or a week in Orlando at a townhouse. So stop back and see Jim or Carl in the back, and they will give you all the information. So thank you for the bids, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you very much for those announcements, Al. Next, we will have new member introductions. More exciting times for the Rotary Club of Cincinnati. Last week, we introduced 5 new members, and today we have 3 new members. So it's a very exciting time. So remember to invite others to be a part of our club and to visit our luncheons and to participate in our events. So this week we have Owen Rassman, who will introduce Corbin Scherzinger, Tony Archery introducing Timothy Berry, and Rick Flynn introducing Sparkle Worley. Owen?
Thank you, President Melinda. Today I'd like to introduce my good friend, Corbin Scherzinger. Corbin actually has been in the club for 2 years. He has been kind of a family deal. Glenn and Camille Scherzinger have been members, Sure Thing Pest Control, for about 20, 25 years. And when Corbin graduated from Miami University in 2016, he went to join the business and has been working there for the last, I guess, 5, 6 years. Recently, Corbin has gotten engaged to Olivia Weaver like a week ago, so give him a round of applause. Corbin can't make the meetings every week, on Thursdays at noon are a little tough for him with him running around with the business, but he has been very involved with a lot of our outside projects at Camp Allen and some other things. He's been very, very good about that. Say hi to Corbin today, buy him lunch next week. Thank you.
Tony Archery.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am delighted to introduce to you today Timothy Berry, who currently works at the University of Cincinnati as an admissions counselor. He is completing his master's degree in education with a concentration in higher education. Timothy is the co-founder of the Greater Cincinnati Educational Network, a nonprofit organization that provides summer enrichment programs for middle schoolers. He also has started his own startup company called Generate Equity. Timothy's passions include education, giving back, serving the community, and spending time with family and friends. He has also jumped right into Rotary service projects by lending a helping hand at the Camp Allen Cleanup Project and has signed up for various committees. We are delighted to have with us Timothy Berry.
And next, Rick Flynn.
Thank you, President Melinda. I'm honored to introduce Sparkle Worley. I've known Sparkle for probably 15 years. Sparkle is truly one of the hardest working people that I know. If I would dare any of you to compare your schedule with hers. She's pretty remarkable. Sparkle and her husband Tom have 3 children, Jason, Ryan, and Megan, and have 6 grandchildren. Sparkle graduated from Michigan Technology University with a BA in liberal arts and a minor in business administration. Sparkle has been employed at DePaul Cristo Rey High School for the last 10 years. She is the Vice President of Advancement. Prior to joining DePaul Cristo Rey High School, she worked at Mount Notre Dame High School as the Advancement Director. She is affiliated with St. Maximilian Kolbe Catholic Church, Cincinnati Plan Giving Council, Leadership Council for Nonprofits, and the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Sparkle also enjoys snow skiing, golf, reading, and of course, her grandchildren. Please welcome Sparkle Worley.
Thank you very much, Rotarians. New Rotarians, let's give our 3 new Rotarians a round of applause. Next, we will have membership anniversaries, and that will be done by our famous Executive Director, Linda Muth.
I am pitch hitting today for our membership director, Deanne Fleming, who couldn't be here today. So we're going to run through these, and we're very grateful for the members who have been with us in 5-year increments, and we want to recognize them today. For our 5-year anniversaries, we have Arnie Behringer, Scott Hoberg, Melinda Kelly, and Tanya Musa. And if you want to stand, if you're here, that would be awesome. Tanya, I know she's here. Okay, for our continuing the 5th anniversaries, it's Carol Nodstein, Michael Schmidt, and Kelly Shook. Over here. Okay. All right. 10th anniversary, we have Steve Dreyful, Heather Hawkins, Ken Saunders, Mark Romito, Sam Schutte, and Brent Seelmeyer. '15th anniversaries are Don Keller, Steve King, Lori Leonard, Tom Ruthman, and Jim Wilson. '20th anniversaries, we have Doug Bolton, Jim Brooks, John Farmeyer, Janet Metzlar, David Ahrens, Al Conscious, and Richard LaJeunesse. Oh, see, I butchered that. Sorry, that's the 25th anniversary, and we have a couple more of those. That's Nancy Reese and Michael Schatzman. 30th anniversary, we have Glenn McEachern. And 35th anniversaries, Gary Kendall and Paul Carilla. Okay, and last but not least, we have our 40th anniversary, and that's Mike Brendamore, Dan Long, and Bunny Meisel. Again, thank you to all the members and your long-term status in the club. We can't do it without our members, and we really, truly appreciate you renewing year after year and being part of this great club. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on all of the anniversaries. There's a lot of the years of Rotary mentioned there, so thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause. Now for some more announcements. We have some birthdays this week, Rotarians celebrating birthdays. July 13th, Rob Croskery. July 15th, Peter Baden. July 17th, Arnie Behringer and Heather Hawkins. Next, we will go to Split the Pot. 25% of the pot goes to the winner. 25% goes to the accumulating pot, and 50% goes to the member development efforts of our club. So let's see if we can give away the accumulating pot today, which is $270. The ticket who's pulled, the winner of the ticket being pulled will receive $64. And in order to qualify for the accumulating pot, you must be a Rotarian of the club. So I'll ask our guest speaker, Michael LaRosa, if he would pick the winning ticket, please. And the winner is, the last four digits are 9772. 9772. And the winner is Ed DeVoid. Congratulations, Ed. The Queen of Hearts is what needs to be pulled to win the pot. Tennis spade. Thank you so much, and congratulations again, Ed. Meeting RSVPs. Please remember to RSVP for our meetings if you would like to attend and to have a lunch reserved for you. It is very important for our office staff to have these accurate numbers for the hotel and the preparations. If your schedule changes, however, and you're able to attend and you find out after 5 o'clock on Monday, please feel free to call the office. Christy and Linda are very helpful, and they do what they can. If we have any cancellations and they can fit you in, they will do that. Otherwise, if you'd like to come to the meeting and sit at one of the coffee or tea tables, you're welcome to do that as well. So if you missed the 5 o'clock deadline on Monday for the meal, you can still come to a meeting. We would love to have you here. It's just great to see a full house today, so give yourselves a round of applause. Next is Save the Date. Save the date for an upcoming Rotary Roadshow. This month we have a 5th Thursday, July 29th. We will be meeting at Great Oaks at the Scarlet Oaks campus. And our speaker for that day will be Rotarian, CEO and President of Great Oaks, the 4 campuses, Harry Snyder. So we're looking forward to that. Please make a note on your calendar. It is a breakfast meeting. So on the 29th, we will be a breakfast meeting at Scarlet Oaks, and you will see information in the E-Raise that gives you the address of the Oaks in Sharonville. So we look forward to that meeting. There are also flyers out on the table where Christy has set up out there for you to take that gives some specific information regarding that meeting. Harry will give us an update on career technical education, which was formerly vocational ed, and how it is progressing through post-COVID. So we're looking forward to that. Today is a special day, and we're really excited because the Hilton is opening up and staffing the bar at Palm Court Restaurant just for Club 17. So thanks to the Hilton. So immediately following the conclusion of our meeting today, please join us in the 131 Club immediately following our meeting today for just a special appreciation to us from the Hilton. And we're looking forward to that. Special thanks to Galen Gordon, Sam Schutte, Steve King, Jim Brooks, and Brian Vielhauer for making this possible. And they will make sure to cover your first adult beverage, hopefully maybe your only adult. I'm just reading my notes here, but they're welcoming us back. And so please just stop by and say hello and greet those in the Club 131. And thanks to Rotarians for making this happen, and of course, the Hilton Netherlands. Next week, our program will be moving forward, where we will have on the panel 4 Rotarians who are in the business and industry field. They will do a presentation regarding post-COVID and their businesses or organizations and corporations. So we're looking forward to that presentation as well next week. Now we will have the program introduction by Al Conscious.
Thank you again, President Melinda. So the Dalai Lama walks into a LaRosa's and he says, "Can you make me one with everything?" Not a very metaphysical crowd here. Okay, we're very happy to have Michael LaRosa here today. Buddy has spoken to us several times. Michael and Mark and Buddy are all longtime friends, and we really appreciate you being here. Michael is the oldest son of Buddy. His career in business began in '74, working part-time while attending UC. Michael was trained in all aspects of the family business, beginning at an entry-level team member, and eventually worked each hourly and management position in the company. By 1987, he became responsible for the original flagship operation in Western Hills, and in 1990 earned a role on the leadership team of LaRosa. Michael is instrumental in developing the service culture of the organization, focused on leadership development. He was named CEO in 2008, and his brother Mark became president, officially becoming the second generation of family ownership to lead the company. He and his wife Lisa have 4 children and reside in Coleraine Township. Please welcome CEO Michael LaRosa.
Thank you very much, Al, and good afternoon. It's quite an honor to be asked to speak to this group. I've spoke to a few of the Rotarian clubs, but this one is serious here. I mean, all these awards and anniversaries and the bowling trophy and everything, this is a real honor. When Al first called, he was asking for Buddy to do this today, and unfortunately, my dad will be 91 in a few weeks, and he has no filter anymore, if you know what I mean. I mean, for many years, I knew his filter was sort of failing a little bit, but if he sees something on the news this morning, it occupies what he talks about all afternoon and all day. And, today you just have, it's a different world, and I hope that being the switch or the backup hitter here today, that you walk out of here with something that I was able to impact you with. What I do really passionately care about inside our family business, and we just celebrated 67 years this year. Thank you. Thank you. The mortality rate in the restaurant industry is the highest of all fields. Everybody wants to open up a restaurant, and very, very, very few of them are successful at it, much less successful over decades and decades. So I'm very proud of what my father and our family have been able to do. But what I am responsible for every day is what I'm going to talk to you about today. And it helps us sell about 10 million pizzas a year in the most competitive pizza region in the country. I mean, people come and people go, and all I ever hear is, we're going to knock LaRosa's off of the top spot, and that just makes us get up earlier, show up, work harder, and at the end of the day, the great people in our region are the most loyal customers possible because they appreciate what we do and how we do it. So if you're a fan, I thank you for your business. If you're not a fan, maybe some of what I share with you today will help to impress you. But I care about leadership development. I care about our people. And this is probably one of the best cartoons I've ever seen that's all about leadership. When you look at this visual, there's 4 people that are depicted, if you can see that. And, there's somebody pulling the cart, and some of my team members want to pull things. They don't know exactly where they're going, but they want to pull and want to lead, but they do it in an unusual way. Others are along for the ride. See the person kind of sitting in the back of the cart. There are people that just want to go along for the ride. They don't want to get engaged at any other level. There's a person pushing, and of course the pusher is saying, no thanks to the leader back there that certainly would make the world a better place in their workplace, right? So we have a leader, we have 3 other individuals, and the guy pushing is like, no, thanks, I'm not interested. The guy pulling is just too busy to even give it consideration. But that's the world I show up in every day. And my challenge is to develop leaders. And I'm not necessarily talking about the person at the counter or the delivery driver. I'm talking about management. The head of the fish, the managers of our stores are the most important people in our business model, right? Now, everybody's important. I mean, people drive everything. But if we can get the managers to care a little bit more and lead, we have a chance to be successful. And your world's the same. I don't care what you're doing. If you're here as a business participant, you know how important leadership is. If you're here as a parent or a grandparent, the same thing happens in our families. We need leaders everywhere. When you watch the news at night and you just see the sad stories of what happens every day inside families, we need leaders. Inside our communities, as evidence of the great work you do, we need leaders. God knows our government needs leaders. I don't want to disagree. I don't want to agree with everybody. We're supposed to disagree. In my business, that's when the best ideas come out, is when we have banter and discussion and disagreement. It's respectful, though, and at the end of the day, we're all trying to go in the same direction. But we need leaders everywhere. Our businesses need it. It's just evidence everywhere we go. This is one of the best exercises I ever participated in. It was about 1985, and this gentleman was leading a class. And real quick, because if you want to do this, I'll be happy to email you this, and you can do it with some of the people that are important to you. But in the center large box, you put your name, and then what the facilitator did is they took a few minutes to say, now, Michael, think about anybody that has had a tremendous influence on you, and write their name in the outer boxes. So, I started thinking about who has had influence. And of course, my parents I wrote down, and maybe an uncle that I had a special relationship with. And then the facilitator said, also think about your education and your experience in schools, and think about experiences you've had outside of your family. And I started, listing some people that I have had in school, or some coaches, some professors. Started listing some people I worked with, people I worked side by side with. And at the end of the day, something that was extremely interesting to me in the data that he shared is that the largest percentage of influencers are family. But guess what the second group is? It's workplace. Workplace outscored education. Now, I'm not saying that in a negative way toward educators, but what I view here is the opportunity in our workplace to provide purpose and meaning to our people who work for us. Because we can develop a relationship, and they're not going to be with us their whole career. This is a stepping stone as they're moving on to their career paths. But while they're with us, and when I hear somebody will come up to me and they'll say, Michael, I worked at Kenwood all my way through high school and college. That's the best job I ever had. It makes me smile. Because that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to fill somebody's box of who has had an impact on their life. I want to be their buddy, or I want my manager to be their buddy. That's when I know I'm doing good work. This is a Stephen Covey matrix, and you probably have seen it. I think it's in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Time is the most precious thing we have, right? And we all waste it because we don't think about it in terms of this matrix. Quadrant 2 activities are the best way for us to spend our time. But we allow the urgent or the not important but feels urgent to suck us into time spent that it really isn't good for us. If you've never seen this, pick up the book. I'll be happy to share this with you. I try to teach my people to use their time most effectively, because when you waste it, you don't have a chance to recoup it, right? It's gone. And life is so terribly short, as we all know. It's unfortunate, but it just goes by way too quick. Learning to be a leader is mostly about that person that we see in the mirror. So actually, it starts with me. And I have learned over time, and people that I have interacted with have taught me to make sure that that guy in the mirror is setting the right example, is making the right decisions. Because if I'm not doing what I should be doing, I can't expect others to do that, correct? So it all starts with personal leadership and holding ourselves accountable for the kinds of things that we know are good for us, or good for our family, or good for us where we choose to invest our time and our talent. And it takes some quiet time, and that's the point on there, is leadership sometimes the best thing for me to do is just get up a little early and open up my planning book and think about the kinds of things that I want to focus on this week, this month, this quarter, and write them down and try to bring some clarity to what will make me feel good when I accomplish it. It takes some quiet time. This doesn't always happen in some fast-paced environment. We need to slow down a little bit, think about the things that we want to do. Maybe this month is my sister's birthday, and I have a special relationship with my sister, and I want to do something special and not just make it be a card or a gift card that I pick up and throw in the mail to her. So maybe I just want to say, hey, sis, I want to have lunch with you for your birthday, or I want to have a cup of coffee with you. It's a small thing, but it makes me feel like I'm investing my time as I should. We all have 6 areas of our life that we need to be a leader. Of course, our families. First and foremost, I'm a husband to my wife. I'm a father to my children. I'm a grandfather to my grandkids. I'm an uncle. Those roles and relationships are important to me. I don't want to just be good as the CEO. I want to be really great in my family, in the roles I play inside my family. I have to think about those roles. They don't happen automatically. So I try to mentally find quiet time to think about those roles and make sure that I'm planning for good things to happen across that particular area of my life. I have personal relationships, of course, that I need to be a good leader. Mental issues, distractions, educational challenges, my physical self, my spiritual self. As you look in the mirror, you can evaluate yourself across each of those fronts and decide, maybe where you're doing okay or where you want to focus a little more time, a little more energy, engage with someone that can help you improve your performance in one of those areas. But being balanced and well-rounded is a good thing. So many years of my life I was out of balance, and I much prefer to feel like I have some control over all of these areas of my life, and I'm sure you'd feel the same way. This is another cool one. Sometimes people say, "What's your elevator speech, Mike? What is it that you do?" What I basically say to folks is, I lead an organization with a can-do attitude that loves to reach out and make smiles. The can-do attitude is my father, because he's the most positive person I've ever met on the planet. And he's also all about reaching out and making smiles. He could come across someone, meet him for the first time, and he will do something special for that person, because that's just the way he is. He loves and serves people 24/7. So my elevator speech is, I lead an organization with a can-do attitude. If you don't believe you can do something, folks, guess what? You're not going to do it. We believe when COVID hit and all the things that we were challenged by, curbside service is always something we had talked about doing, but honestly, we were afraid to do it. But we made it happen because of a can-do attitude. We got the right people in the room, and it was like, drawing up the game plan for a war battle. We just started sketching. How might we do this? What direction will it go? How much time? What are the critical things we're going to measure and track? And we were able to put curbside service in almost every one of our locations, and the guests loved it, and business grew. Everybody seems to think that COVID probably drove our delivery through the roof. No, our delivery remained flat because everybody was getting DoorDash and Grubhub and all that other stuff being delivered to them, so our delivery sales were flat. It was our team's willingness to do curbside pickup that enabled the floodgates to open, because we grew our pickup business by 35%. And it's still growing. We're not letting go of curbside. We're going to keep doing it. But a can-do spirit is so important. And your attitude, you have your attitude and your thoughts, and that's what drives your behavior. And then you analyze your results, And that's where your can-do attitude comes back in, because then you revisit the things that you need to think about and do better. But this triangle, I think, depicts sort of the natural process you have to flow through, where your attitude drives your behavior, you analyze your results, and then you figure out what do we need to do to improve those results or maintain those results. And this just continues. It's a continual process. Leadership tools. We have a language at LaRosa's. When somebody uses the word C-A-N-T, we politely interrupt them and say, that's not in our vocabulary. Don't use the word can't. That's a little thing. But when you allow folks to be negative and to be Debbie Downers, eventually it's really hard to fight that momentum. So we just say, look, I don't want to hear that word. Let's figure out what we can do. We can try to do. So you replace it with, I can, I will. We encourage folks to be good listeners. It's not about, running your mouth, taking over the meeting, having control of everything. We've got 2 ears for a reason. Use them. Work on being a great listener. Ask good questions. Make good, solid eye contact with people. These basic principles, but I think they're very important. Ask good questions. Clarity is important. How many times do people leave a meeting and they're scratching their head because they're not really sure what's expected of them or what we're trying to do? We try not to end something unless everybody's been given a chance to ask good questions. Make sure we all leave here at least understanding the specifics of what we were talking about today. Be positive. Believe. It was great to hear you giving out awards around, you were using that language. But people today aren't taught to believe in themselves. My goodness, that's such a sad thing. But if we find a young person, and they're not all, trust me, they're not all college graduates that are working in my 4 walls. Many times they are high school graduates that we just develop confidence and belief in, and then they go out and they can earn 6 figures. Many of our managers have been, timber that we grew inside our forest. And, when they come up to me and they say, man, I really appreciate the fact that I can earn this kind of money doing this work, and I don't have any rings on my finger. I mean, they really appreciate that. But teaching people to believe in themselves and their capabilities is extremely important. Humility, Jesus Christ taught us that. Say no more. Life is a team sport. We don't do anything by ourselves. It's a team effort. We all have the ability to impact and support and lift up one another, and hopefully we spend time doing that. I love the analogy around, at 211 degrees, water is hot, but that one more degree of temperature causes that water to boil, and steam is made, and boy, you can do a lot of wonderful things with steam. So that 1 degree of extra anything, how important that is. And we try to encourage people to find that 1 more degree. Keep trying. Try a little bit harder. Work on it just a little bit more. Maybe you find that 1 more degree. Always be accountable in everything you do. And then you lead everywhere you go in everything you do. But I wanted you to get inside my head, because success in our company is only because our people care about what they do and how they do it. How am I doing on time, Al? We good? Okay. So, I hope that you found something of interest there. Maybe you can use a concept or 2 in your areas of responsibility. Then my time with you today was beneficial. So we can open it up for questions. Anybody that has anything you want to know about this, that, or the other? Yes, go ahead.
Mike, I just want to thank you. I'm a veteran, and every LaRosa store I've been in, I get a substantial discount when I tell them I'm a veteran. And I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yay!
And any other...
Well, thank you for your service. Sure. I think our country should make every young man and woman spend some time in the service. I really believe that. Because
the second thing I want to mention is, in the 50s, I delivered afternoon newspapers, and I happened to deliver papers to your store on Bodenow Avenue. Mm-hmm. And every day, every afternoon, I walk in the door, and your father would say, "Hey, Mac, how you doing?" He made me feel really welcome every time I did. And Pete, your pizza has been my favorite ever since then.
Thank you, thank you. But thanks for your service. The generation that doesn't value that flag, I just don't understand. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't the sacrifice of men and women over all these years. Other questions? Yes.
Mike, I always thought that the world would be a better place in which to live if there were LaRosas in every city, just like there's a McDonald's. Surely you all have considered going public, and what is your reason for staying local and so special to all of us?
Did I hear you say going public? When you don't own your company, things change dramatically. We've seen lots of entities who are successful become public entities, and then their dynamics change, and they're not as successful. So we've talked about going public, but there's really no reason to do that right now. My brother and I are second-generation leadership. We love what we're doing. I have a son, and Mark has a daughter that are involved, and they're both very capable as third generation, so we're grooming them. When I hang up my apron, my niece and my son will be taking over. And, to go public is sort of like cashing in your chips. And when you're doing really well, we have no interest in doing that. Now, we have tried to expand to other markets, and honestly, pizza's kind of an unusual product in that, here where folks grew up with our taste and our menu items, it's what they know and expect and what they've come to love. When you show up in another market where maybe they grew up on a local pizza there or Pizza Hut or something, it's just a different reality. And we used to just grow wherever we had a franchisee that was interested. So we call it jumped to Knoxville, Tennessee a few years ago, and the store failed. And one of the reasons it's failed, and you just learn, you always learn from your mistakes. That's a good thing. But the research we did down there, LaRosa, they thought it was a Mexican restaurant. Montgomery Inn, the Gregory family did the same thing. They went to Indianapolis. Montgomery Inn, people thought it was a hotel. Because Montgomery Inn doesn't necessarily scream barbecue ribs at you. So, we are using the creep method for growth now. So, we're in Lexington, and we're doing very well in Lexington because they go to Reds games, they go to Kings Island, they go to the zoo. They are familiar with LaRosa's because they see our brand at some of those venues. We're going to go to Louisville next. So when we show up and we're just maybe 50 miles away from our next closest store, there's a little more brand recognition. It works well for us. But honestly, I don't want to be coast to coast. But when we grow somewhere, we want to be successful in that market. So if we can do well in Lexington, Louisville, Indianapolis, Columbus, that would be really good. Yes?
Hi, Mike. I've been teaching leadership for like 25 plus years. And you can teach the concepts, but how do you actually get someone to act on them or to believe in them and live them?
Great question. I think the example you set is critically important. So any of our top leaders in the company, they have to walk the talk, plain and simple. And I think you have to be comfortable in an appropriate way coaching people up, because you're going to see folks who fumble the ball. And when they fumble the ball, you have a choice to either, hit them over the head with a bat, which I don't recommend, or you pick the ball up and you hand it to them and you explain to them a better way to hold the ball, a better way to protect the ball, a better way to do whatever they messed up. But I think leaders have to be teachers and coaches all the time. And when you see something that isn't quite right, you coach them up in an appropriate way. If you do that, it starts catching fire because that team member appreciates it. They're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then it starts catching fire. Great question, though. Yeah.
Oh, I've got one more. This is so important. This is an important leadership question. Mr. LaRosa, thank you so much. I would like to know where I stand on the all-time leaderboard ordering from LaRosa's. So I'm going to need you to query the system. I'll give you my phone number and my addresses, but I got to be in the top 10%. And I just need to know where I stand in that leadership ranking.
Give me your number. I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for that just inspiring presentation and how personal it was and your comments on leadership. Just great. Let's give him another round of applause for that great presentation. And because of your great presentation, we are, Club 17, going to give a donation to Rotary International as we have been working on the eradication of polio since the 1980s. So we will give a donation in honor of your presentation today, and we have a pin for you for our theme this year, which is Rotary Serve to Change Lives. We have some meetings this afternoon. A reminder again first of all, we'll have the Believe to Achieve meeting in the salons F and G on the 4th floor. Also, directly in the rear of this room, you can meet Al Conscious, Jane Burkett, also for the Believe to Achieve if you have some other questions about the auction. Rotaract the Rotaract group will be meeting in the Rookwood room on the 4th floor. And again, our special celebration of Club 131 in the Palm Court immediately following. And as soon as you leave the door there at the room, you can exit to the right, and it will lead you right into the Palm Court for the special presentation of the Hilton for our club. Next week, we will have, again, moving forward, our own Rotarians panel of business and industry professionals. It's really exciting. It will be the first meeting of our corporate roundtable, and so they are really looking forward to it. The chairpersons are Dave Carlin, past presidents Dave Carlin and Jack Scott. They've been working very well with the committee, and so they're looking forward to the panel next week. So thank you so much for coming. Make it a great week. Serve from the heart to change lives. Meeting adjourned.